Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 2 of our series on preparing for the upcoming recession in the coffee industry. Today, we're going to be talking about your numbers. This is going to be a really important step in preparing for an upcoming recession, and we're going to dissect that in this episode. You ready? Let's do it. This podcast is brought to you by Mapper Forward's new Patreon community, the Global Coffee Think Tank. Check the show notes or head to patreon.com/mapperforward to find out how you can become a member today. Okay, so preparing your numbers is a really important thing. And what do I mean by preparing your numbers? We have been going through an ongoing inflationary cycle. What that means is more and more businesses are having to face the real challenge of, do I increase my prices or not? Recently on Bloomberg, there was some very disturbing information where what they found was when the inflation numbers were reported in the US, 7.8% inflation, what they found was the sector that didn't increase their prices as much as was necessary or increase their prices the least was actually the food and services sector, so the hospitality sector. While inflation was up 7.8%, the hospitality sector only increased their prices by 1%, and this is seriously concerning. What that means is we are lagging behind, and my concern about that is that this hesitation for businesses to increase their prices is dangerous to their survival. If you aren't across your numbers, if you don't know whether you are actually profitable, the more likely you are to be in danger of going out of business, regardless of how much money you're making. So if you are not increasing your prices because your customers are hesitant towards it, your customers are just helping you go out of business quicker. So it is really, really important for you to take this time to start assessing your numbers, redoing your cost breakdown analysis, and making sure that your prices are set at a profitable amount. Here's how you'll do that. You will go back and figure out the first element of your cost breakdown formula, your COGS. So all the materials that go into a product that you're selling, every single product you're going to do this for. So if you sell a latte, if you sell a flat white, if you sell an orange juice bottle or freshly squeezed orange juice or croissants or a bag of roasted coffee, every single product that you have, you are going to figure out this breakdown for it. You're going to figure out, number one, the COGS. What are all the things that go into making the product that you're selling? Not the labor, not any of that, just the actual product. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go back, and you may have to talk to your accountant about this if you don't know how to read your profit and loss statement. But you're going to go back and you're going to look at what it cost you as a percentage of total revenue. What did it cost you in either the last quarter or the last year? What percentage of your total revenue did it cost you to run your business? Now, if it cost you 60 or 70% of your total revenue to run your business, you are going to allot a 70% allocation to your operating expenses for that product. So your COGS plus that percentage for your product allocation, plus any taxes that have to be included in the sell price, that is, all of that should equal what your revenue number should be, what the recommended retail price for that product is. Now, if you, let's say you assign $5 for a latte, and you find that your COGS amount plus the 70% plus the taxes means that you end up losing money on that latte, you know that you are not charging enough for your latte. And dare I say, there are going to be a lot of businesses out there that are surprised by how much money they're not making on coffee. Please, this is not a time for coffee to be a loss leader. And you are the only one that can know your business. So this is not financial advice. Until I can sit with you and review the whole story, I cannot advise you on your business. But what I can tell you is that loss leaders right now are sinking businesses if they are not done strategically. So you need to consider very, very carefully whether it's worth losing on cups of coffee, or whether it's worth losing on any products at all. The next thing that you need to be able to do once you have figured out what of your products is making money and what of your products is not making money, you need to figure out where you need to cut the fat. So there may be some products that you need to phase out. There may be some products that you need to decide, if things get harder and harder, you need to simplify. Now, if there are any labor-intensive products that you're just breaking even for, it may be worth considering removing them off your menu as well. Why? Because labor is going to continue to get more expensive. Remember, we were talking about the problems that staff are going to have. And the fact that their pricing is going to go up, they themselves are going to experience inflation, means that they're going to come and ask you for a pay rise. You need to start considering and factoring that into the next 12 to 24 months. The recession may not happen in the next couple of months. It may happen towards the end of this year or in 2023. Whenever it does hit, everybody is going to hurt that hasn't been prepared. And this means that they are going to come and your staff will come and ask you for pay rises. Make sure you have factored that into your pricing from now. The clients that we've been working with this past year and the past 24 months, really, I'm so happy that we prepared them for what was coming, because as their suppliers' prices have increased, they were already prepared for this and they had a buffer in there. So their next price increase won't need to happen until towards the end of this year. Okay, so the next thing after that, and the final thing that I want you to reassess, is I want you to reassess your budget when it comes to your numbers. I want you to figure out how much money that you spend every month and where you can save money. So we have to figure out how we increase revenue, and we'll talk about that in a future episode in this series. But before we do that, we need to figure out where it is we can save money. We are currently in a time where people are drunk on recovery from the pandemic. And because of that, this is why I feel so nervous about what's coming for our industry, is because we've had such a challenging couple of years, and it's so exciting to see cafes full again. But what that means is they're so excited about this temporary recovery phase that they have been lulled into, that they're taking their eye off the ball on what's happening with global economics. We have to now deal with the ramifications of overprinting money and leveraging ourselves, which means taking out all this debt that so many people have taken. There are aftershocks that are about to happen, and that's what we're about to start seeing. This is not just from the pandemic. This stems back all the way to when money started to be printing out of nowhere. So it is going to be tough, and in order for you to be prepared, you need to know where your numbers stand. So figure out whether you're pricing your products fairly, and by fairly I mean to your business as well as to your customers, and also make sure that there's enough padding in there for future inflation. Next, make sure that you understand how you're going to cut the fat from your business, and then make sure that you're ready for any kind of changes and shifts that are going to happen as everything starts to really unfold. And I giggle because there are so many different ways that this could play out. And I just want you to be prepared for it. Okay, folks, I'll see you in the next episode. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks, friends. If you enjoyed this video, here's what you should check out next. Consider supporting Map It Forward on Patreon and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell before you leave.